hours, and at the long run says cancel the operation. So it was going on successfully. We're all building the application, completed that, right? So, but it cancelled it, the browser application, to now load it in the browser, right? At that point, that says the operation was cancelled, said disconnected clients. So I don't know what could have been responsible for that, maybe my network, or maybe I mistakenly pressed something. But we'll still try and see what we can do regarding that, right? So let me try and see if we can use the other one is showing like a half screen, not a full screen. Okay, I think this works better. HDMI works better. It's better. So, complete job, but browser application bundle generator, to load it in the browser window, it now says the operation cancelled, right? So, but not to worry. If you go to your course shell, like I mentioned, this is the video, Node.js deploying application, how to deploy your Node.js application. You have videos on Azure, you have videos on AWS, you have videos on Heroku as well. So we have done Heroku, so you can just quickly move to Azure or AWS, right? So if you look at it, it's a LinkedIn learning. I just added these two to at least maybe to do a quick one. So if you go to deploy Node.js, this is a LinkedIn learning that has been provided for us as students. So if you look at it, we have Heroku. If you want to go through the Heroku, this is how to do the setup. You can watch the video. The video is not long, right? And if you move from Heroku, you can go to Azure, right? Maybe we might watch the video once. We'll try and see how we can do the deployment. We'll start it off. Then probably we'll switch to watching the video, right? Then, so that's for Azure. This is for AWS. This is for AWS if you wish to use AWS, right? So we have the videos which will provide a step-by-step guidance or instruction on how to go about it. So let's quickly see if we can use the Azure. I'll just guide us, like I mentioned, with the application I tried to deploy failed, right? So at the long run, after spending hours in doing the deployment, right? So after spending hours in doing the deployment, so I'll just do a quick guide. As I've mentioned, I added some 2 other links, YouTube video you could watch to do that, this and this. So I'll kindly provide a step-by-step guide. So Azure, we all have access to it as students. If you go to the website and log in with your Sentinel credentials, you log in with your Sentinel credentials. All as students, you have so you can sign in. You can sign in with your Sentinel College email, right? So you can sign in with your Sentinel College email. It's free for students. So these are some of the applications I tried to deploy. You can see my sports store that I tried to deploy yesterday, and eventually it's eventually, like I mentioned, the deployment failed after spending almost 8 hours in deploying. So this is it. After spending morning, so after spending almost 8 hours in deploying, it says the operation was cancelled. Right. So I don't know what could have been responsible for that. Right. So before some of us came in, I mentioned that if you go to your course shell, week 12 is open. Remember I said we are doing deployment this week. So week 12 is open. So in the week 12, we are already familiar with how to deploy our application using Heroku, right? We've been doing that. So we are trying to explore other services like Azure, AWS, and probably Google Cloud, right? So I have also uploaded 2 other links for Azure, right, which I tried out yesterday, and after 8 hours, it failed, right? So I don't know what could have been responsible for it, but if you look at it, by default, a link to the LinkedIn Learning. There's a link to the LinkedIn Learning, Node.js deploying the Node.js application. So there's a link to that LinkedIn Learning. If you click on it, you can walk yourself through the LinkedIn Learning. We have if you want to use Heroku, you're already familiar with Heroku, so I won't advise you to spend more time on that. You're already familiar with Heroku, or if you want to go through it, fine. You can watch the videos, they are not long, just some few minutes. So if you move on, if you scroll down, we have after Heroku, we have AWS, right? I tried, after my Azure failed, I tried using AWS, and I discovered that my free AWS account has expired, right? It has expired, so I didn't want to take the risk of putting in my credit card, right? So I didn't bother doing that. But if you watch the video will provide a step-by-step guide to you. So you also have the one for Azure, and you can go through the videos as well. So, but quickly, let's just try that. Like I mentioned, you must have an account. If you are going to use Azure, you must have an account. So I was trying to use AWS, and I discovered that my account, the free account is over. No more free mail. So I didn't want to take that risk. Right. But for the Azure, if you log in with your Sentinel College email, you still have access to it. So just go to azure.com, sign in. Once you sign in, just use your Sentinel College email. Use your Sentinel College email. These are some of the, this is the one I deployed yesterday that eventually failed after 8 hours, it failed. So it failed. At the long run, it said the operation was cancelled after, successful. So I don't know the reason why. Anyway, right. So, but I will just guide us. So before you can use this, you must first of all download the CLI, the command line interface. So you must first of all download that. Right. So after downloading the CLI, there are some few commands you need to run at the command line. You log into Azure, right? And also you have to open your application. We will still talk about deploying the application to Git. So once you open your application, let me see if I can open any other application. This is 002. Let me open a new one. So open the application you want to deploy, push it to GitHub. Let it create a main branch, right? So open the application you want to deploy, push it to GitHub, let it create a main branch, because we'll be using that as well. So you can create a repository for it in your GitHub account. So let's just take it step by step. So if it's not successful, you can still go back and watch your video and do it. But I'll just give you the guidelines of what you need to do. You already have that link to the video, right? So first of all, open your application. Before we open the application, create a repository for it in your GitHub, push it to GitHub. Then we'll come back and download the CLI for Azure. Then we'll log in, AZ, login, and so let's just take it step by step.
Where you download the CLI, is that on the Azure website?
You go to our Azure website, or yeah, let's just take it gradually one by one.
Okay.
Yeah, so I will tell you where to go to. You can just say download and install Azure command line interface. Go to Google, it will. But let's just take it step by step, right? So wherever you have your application, this is section 004, right?
Yes.
So let me open the one for your class where we stopped last week. For those of us that were not around last week, we completed everything. Did you see my upload? Did you see the file that I uploaded? Did you unzip? You checked? Right. So last week, I just remember that maybe because of the weather, some of us were not around. Right. So we completed Angular, we completed the authentication, we have completed the CRUD operation as well, right? So we are able to create new products in the store or the sports store. We can edit, you can delete, right? And we did the authentication. So in your project, henceforth, most especially your project part 3, remember project part 2, I said you can use EGS, that is fine, right? But for project part 3, I want to see the authentication and the CRUD operation using Angular, please. Right. So let's use Angular. You already have the final code. Right. So I hope we're able to unzip. You're able to unzip. You're able to run it. You can see. Yeah. So if you are able to run it, if you have unzip and you're unable to run it, once you change directly to the workspace, you have to run the node modules again. Just say npm install, right? Maybe the node modules is corrupted. Just say npm install. It will install the node modules. Then you can start. Okay, that is if it's not working, right? But if it's working, then fine. But everybody here is working, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm happy to hear that. It's working. So you guys are good to go for your part 3. So let's open the application that we want to deploy, create a repository for it in GitHub. Right, so if you open that, I'm sure you must have downloaded and unzipped that file on your computer. So if you open it, this is the application we want to deploy. So if you go to your GitHub as well, if you go to your GitHub, before we push it, let's create a repository for it in our GitHub. Right. So open your GitHub. So open your GitHub account. You can create a new repository. You can give the repository a name. Let me say sports store 11. So give the repository a name because we will push it to GitHub. We're still going to deploy from the GitHub. So I'll make it public. Then create repository. You are familiar with this process already, right? Right. So let's go back to our VS Code, your application that you have opened that you want to deploy to that you want to deploy. So this is section 004. Okay. So you go go to the workspace, CD, sports, store, or maybe let's put the whole application. Let's put the whole application there. Right. So we will push the whole of this application to our GitHub. We all know how to do that. Git init, enter, git add space dot, enter.
There's two zip files on the
Sorry?
There's section 4 and there's another one.
Check the one we completed on Thursday, right? If you go to your course shell.
Yeah, so there's two here.
Go to your course shell. We have the one with admin auth. Yeah.
This one.
Section 004.
This one.
The second one. Yeah. I thought I've hidden that first one. The one that says admin auth section 004. That's the one that I wrote. So okay. So the one we have opened. So we've done the git init, git add. So git commit space -m space initial commit. Hope we can still remember. Okay. Initial commit, enter. Okay. So we'll go back to the repository we have created in GitHub, right? So if we switch back to the repository that we have created in our GitHub, as usual, just copy the last 3 lines because we want to move it to the main branch, right? So we copy that, then you paste it in, enter. We're trying to push it to the main branch. Right. So once you're done with that, enter. You do a push, git push. Push it to your repository, right? Right, are we there? Okay. So let's go back to our repository. We should have our code there now. I hope we have our code. Let me go back. Okay, I'm trying to switch to the code. We have our code pushed in, right? Do you have your code pushed in? I'm trying to open the code. It's not opening my code. Push. I hope I've not used it several times. Okay. So do we have our code in the repository? Yes or no? You're still unzipping.
I think I ran the other one.
Okay, you unzip the other one.
Yeah. But I had to do the auth one, right?
Okay, are we able to push? Mine is still lagging. So I think think it's updating the existing one that I have. Maybe because it's the same project that I used. Okay. But for you guys, were you able to view your code? So that's maybe because I have used this several times. Were you able to push?
Yes.
Yeah? So let me see. Don't go by what I'm doing there. Yeah, okay. Were you able to push your own code?
We're still on something.
Okay. I've used this. I said I've used mine.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah. It's okay. You are able to push. Okay. So I just want to be sure we all are able to push maybe because I've used it. It said when I was pushing, it said it already exists. So it's not displaying repository. Okay. This is what I just created. It's not displaying the code.
Can you just check the other repository? I think it was also updated like 3 minutes ago.
Updated in the one I had earlier on, right?
Yeah.
Let's go back. Let me go back. Okay, let me go back. So I think it's updating the one I have.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's updating maybe this one. Oh, it's updating this one, and I've deployed this one. I don't know why it's updating it.
You have to remove the object folder.
I have
Can
to.
you try again? Because in your zip file, there is a object folder there.
Okay,
It's
that
bound to-
registered this.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's bound to your original GitHub.
So how do I remove that? This is my file. This is my folder.
And you see, is there a dot git in the good direction? Maybe you can try your exploit in File Explorer.
In
Maybe in File Explorer, you can check it.
Okay, and anyways, have we all been able to create it? So I just want to provide a guide to us. So have we all been able to create? Let me be sure everybody's on the same page. Are we able to unzip? Are we able to create? They are still unzipping. They are still unzipping too. Is it the auth? Is the second one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you able to unzip? Yeah. You have your code, right? Okay. So I think mine is just updating it. I might need to, maybe because I've used that several times. So are you successful in unzipping now? Right? Okay. So do your git push and everything, and you should have your code in there. Maybe I should switch to that. So you should have your code in here. Right. So the next thing we'll do, you'll go to your, we already have this in GitHub. So let's go to our command prompt, cmd. You can run it as administrator. And so let's just keep the CMD at that point. Remember we said we need to download the Azure CLI, Azure command line interface, right? So okay. So to download that, you can just go and Google download. I already have the link, but to make it easier for you, download and install Azure and download and install Azure CLI. Right. Okay, I'm trying to see. So you have to choose based on the one are you on Windows or Mac? So you have to go back. Once you download and install Azure CLI, you have to choose which operating system are you using. Right. So if you are using Windows, you click on Windows. And once you click on Windows, just scroll down. Say install Azure CLI on Windows, install or update. Right. So the latest version, which is the latest release of the Azure CLI, you can click on it. Latest release of Azure CLI. Once you click on it, it will start downloading. Right? To start downloading, once you click on that, click on latest release of Azure CLI to start downloading. So just give it a time for it to download. So it's still downloading, so I hope you have the space of your system. That's another challenging thing about when you are developing an application. Are you able to download?
Yeah,
It's crashing. Okay, if it's crashing, remember I said you should do npm install.
yeah, I did that.
Is it crashing from any other person? The one you downloaded?
It's npm install, right?
npm space install. npm space install. Not node more now. Yeah, it should install the node modules. Once it's done doing that, just yeah. Have you created a repository in your GitHub?
Yeah.
Yeah. So once I created a repository, so you push this code to the GitHub. You push it to GitHub. Git image, enter git space add space dot enter, then git commit, git space commit space dash m space initial commit in quotes, enter. Then you go back to your repository, copy that 3 lines for the command line for you to push it to the main branch. You paste it in, enter. So once we are done downloading, are we all there? Once we,
Just a couple more minutes, seconds.
couple more, okay, so I'll just hold on. I'll just hold on. So let's just take it step by step. So once it's done, just let me know. So that we can. So like I mentioned, I did it yesterday and it was going on, but later at the long run they said cancelled. So I hope it will be successful for us. This is just deployment after you have created, your application.
Okay,
Okay, good. So just click on that, open it and run and install. So it will run that, click on next. I already have it, you don't need to click on next. I have it, so it wants me to repair. So I'm going to cancel my mine. Just click on,
Accept and then.
so I don't want to repair it, right? So I'll leave it. So once you, which message pop up? What was the message?
So it said accept the terms and conditions.
So you check the accept the terms and
Yeah,
condition,
then you go
Then install.
then it will install. Okay, are we all there? Is it working for everyone?
Yes.
Yeah.
I hope we're all there. So it's working for everyone. Okay. So once you are done, we need to log into Azure itself from that command line. From that command line, we need to log in. Right. So to log in, so are we all done now?
Yeah.
So go to your CMD, the command line, AZ space login. AZ space login. Then enter. So it will also prompt you to as you're logging in, to put in your credentials. So use your Centennial College. Remember, use your Centennial College email. To just hold on a bit, it says you can close this window or it will redirect you to the Azure CLI documentation in 10 seconds. Right. So this is the Azure documentation. Also, you can see where we went to earlier on. If you want to download for Windows, you can just navigate through to familiarize yourself with some few things there. Right. So it's still just prompting us back.
Sorry, mine said it's not recognized as an external
It's not.
Never mind too.
The plugins. Did you run it as an administrator? Close this. Did you open your command prompt? Open as an administrator. If you go to no, right click and open as an administrator. Make sure you open it as an administrator. Run as administrator, right? Yes. So you should be able to. Did you run as an administrator?
Yes. Maybe.
Did you have installed? Did you first of all log in?
No, I didn't. I haven't created it.
Huh?
I'm creating. I do. I have to log in.
Yeah,
the
go
site.
to Azure.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the first thing we did. So let's just follow the rules. So we are out there, right? Are we all there now? Like I mentioned, you can watch the LinkedIn learning video. This is just to so at that command line, you will discover that it has created the ID and some other information and your login details, right? Are we out there for those following?
Yes.
Did it create this?
I see
Once
there's
say
no
AZ
subscription
login.
found. There's no subscription found.
After AZ login, you have already logged in. Are you logging in again? No.
No subscription found.
No subscription file on your email? Wow. And you're using Centennial College email?
Yes.
Wow. Okay, can you check whether you can sign in for a free trial? Oh, that means some emails are not configured for that.
Did you use the procedure email?
Check. Okay, check if you can create a free account. But usually students have wow. Check.
Yeah.
Is it working now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So your account is in your. Are you able to?
Yeah, mine gives me an error because I wasn't signed in. That's why I'm signing in.
Okay, sign in. How is it going? Cool? Yeah, so we are on the same page. Are you logging in at all?
I'm
Yeah,
just
still-
doing some.
Okay. Okay, fine. So for those of us that our account is saying that your account was not set up, check whether you can get a free trial, right?
Oh.
So whether you can get a free trial version. So use now.
Actually, I can log in Mozilla by using the browser.
Okay. Let me see. Yeah. Okay, log in and say start the free trial. Are you? No. And start a free trial. Click on that start a free trial. Yeah. Then start a free trial. Okay. Then sign in now. You say start a free trial, sign in. Then use your Sentinel for the blessing. Okay. Okay, go back. Now go to the command line. Go to the command line. Let's see. Once you start a free trial, go to the command line. Start a free trial, you log in, sign in. Then use your. Is it coming back? Register your email. Okay, go back to your command line. Let's see now. Go back to the command line. Hold on. Okay. Now go to your CMD and see if you can.
Receive message.
Still the same message. Okay. Okay. Go back. That means we need to. For those of us not saying. Okay. Go back. There you have. Yeah. Go to the Azuri. Yeah. Scroll down. You have. Let's see more service. I'm trying to see where we can see the source group. Start. Okay. Go and try to log in. Let's see. For those of us not having our account, it's still giving you the same thing. He's logging. Hold on, he's logging in. You created. Let me see. Yeah. So how did you create it? Hello. Maybe you connect it. Hello? So does it need to click on any find or added? No. Okay, so then you go back and, okay, great, do that now. Okay, so go back. Yeah. Are you able to log in or not? Yes, you have not tried it. AZ space login.
Sorry, I did sign in, but it's still giving me that error.
Go to the students, there is a free student offer. Go back. Go back to the Azure. That's Azure website where you log in. Not here.
Free account?
Yeah, let's see. Yeah. Sign in. Access student benefits.
Say, I need to.
This is your credit.
Hey.
That's what we are using at Azure. No. It's free. We are trying to sort it out. There's a place for students. Go
Yeah.
back.
Are you using just do the
Okay.
account?
Okay, go back now. Okay, yeah, sign up now. Free? Yeah. That's what we're trying to sort out. So go back to the Azure. Okay, go and sign up. Say AZ now. Go back. Yeah, say AZ login.
Can you help me?
Just listen. Okay. This one. Hold on. Don't close it. Okay, so go back to the command line now. Okay, type AZ login. Yeah, so. Go back to your command room, let's see. It's still logging you out. Please come and assist. Okay, so go to sign in. There. And student free account. Oh, is it touch screen? Or maybe just look at what they're doing. Yeah. Okay, setting up your account. So let's just hold on for some of our friends that are trying. So is yours working now?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's just
It's working.
hold on. Still trying to load. Okay, go to the command prompts now. Okay, AZ login. Just hold on for it. Go back to your command prompts. Yeah, okay, beautiful. So it's okay, just hold on for it. No, don't type anything. So yeah, just hold on, be patient. Yeah.
And I don't know why when I see the file and I try to post it to GitHub and it shows this to me.
Final repository. Good. Fata. Did you create the repository already?
Yeah, I created a web repository for this.
Huh?
I created a web repository.
Did you copy the last 3 lines after git init, git add, git add space dot, then git you copy just the last 3 lines so as to create the main branch. The last 3.
It's me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Copy. Enter.
Space, it's already exists.
Okay, let's continue.
And it's
Fatal error. I don't know why it's giving you fatal error.
In
Is that
pushing the that,
Yeah.
right,
Hello?
git remove, something like that. I was also like facing the same issue that
should we just repeat, remove?
update existing. Wait,
Okay.
remote and all.
Just hold on for it.
Your error
Yeah,
is this,
yeah,
right?
go
That
back
will
to
remove
the-
this.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you for that. Okay, so we are all on the same
Right.
page, right?
Is it
For
this?
those of us,
Okay.
right. So now we are going to tie the following scripts to set up the location and the
In
name
WhatsApp.
and the name of the application that we want to deploy. So I will say AZ space web app space up space dash dash location. There are several location zones that we could use, but we'll use East US. There are several locations, but I'm going to use East US space dash dash name, the name of the application space. I'll put it in quotes. So I want to call the application my, whatever you want to call it, my what, my sports store. Let's say my sports store fine because I've created several. You can just say my sports store. I've created several, so I don't want it to conflict.
AZ web app up.
AZ space web app up space dash dash location space the location. We have several locations. If you check it, we have several locations, but I'm using the East US space, the name you want to give to your application. The name you want to give to your application. No subscription. That was what we were trying to handle. Yeah, you are here now. Yeah. So you are good. If you have that, it shows you. What do I have there? Does it read your email as the name? 10.
Thank you.
It's okay.
It worked?
No, I'm trying to do it now.
The one with no subscription or student subscription.
No, because I tried to do it. The original one, but it told me.
You can continue since it shows you that you are here. So you can type that. So we are trying to give your application a name, the application you are trying to deploy. So we're trying to give it a name, right? So I will then space dash dash HTML. Enter. So if you go to the Lindale learning video, it's deploying it, the step differs, right? So you still have to watch that video. Do you all get that? You still have to watch the video. So it's creating the app now. So it's creating the, it should create the application for you.
Yeah, it's working.
Is it working?
No.
What's going on? Let's see. It's web. Can go to that link, copy that link again. Yeah. Did you open the application? Did you push to GitHub already?
Yeah.
Put that. Are you having the same error?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's copied again.
Copy that error message and put it.
Yeah,
Okay, that's okay.
that's what I was doing.
No, system configuration and everything differs. So. Okay, is it successful? I'll just Take
No,
it
it's not for me.
step by step.
No.
Or you can still watch that video. You see how the video linked the learning. I just want to be sure that we are. It's still loading. It's loading. Just leave it. Just leave it. It will take a while. If just is coming up, it will take a while. Just hold on for it. Yeah. So it's my read our system memory. Yeah.
You need to go. Right?
So-
Is it correct?
So it's saying
Typing.
that this is the
Yeah.
Azure
Hold on,
bug
just hold on.
that the team is working on it. So you
Right?
need to. That's the Azure issue. That's not my like our issue. So you need to install the other version of Azure, like previous version, the older version.
Oh.
So that's what they're
Maybe
saying.
system compatibility. Okay, so where is the older version?
Yeah. Where is it?
Okay, since you're having.
Oh no.
So not current version. You know we installed the latest version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what this
So
says.
since the latest version is not working.
Now they do the version 1.
Mm.
Yeah. 2.0.
So how do you install that?
That's what I'm saying. How
So
to-
just check. You can click on that link. To
Oh,
see.
this is
Okay.
I'll just-
So let's check how to install older version of CLI or right. So check. This is you don't need to rush this. So because there's gonna be so many issues along the line, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to take a while, especially if your system is slow like mine. If your system is fast, you can see mine is still right. Or, like I mentioned, you can go to the LinkedIn Learning. The video is on LinkedIn Learning.
I'm just looking at where do you get
Try to
that
look
version.
up.
My only problem is when I'm pushing the camera, it goes to
It goes to you copy the last 3 lines to push it
It
over,
looks
right?
another way.
No, this one. Yeah, but this is on the
But
command
they
line.
said that there's another way. And you go, need to go to the general settings, then stack settings, select these ones. And I want to look. Where are they?
Wow, mine is very slow.
Gives us time to catch up.
Huh?
Gives us time to catch up.
It's even faster than mine. His one is even faster than mine. And I started this morning.
I don't know.
Wow.
Look, that.
Okay. It's giving an error message. So if it gives you an error message at any point,
Just.
so if it gives you an error message at any point,
Make sure.
if at any point, once you, hello, he is almost done. If it gives you an error message at any, if you are almost done, type this command, az web app space log deployment space show space dash n space and the space here space the name you gave to your application, the name you gave to your application, mine, just follow the name. That's the name you gave to your application. Mine is my Sports Storm 5, right? Space dash G. Want to make it global, right? Space deploy group. Then you press enter. That's if you're having any error at that point. Try it. Hello.
It looked for me.
Did I about please see.
On that one?
Is it running? on a single line. All on a single line. It's a
I
continuation.
think it's long.
All on a single line but. So just put space, then continue.
Web log, right?
If you are having issues, mine is still
Yeah.
okay, it has moved a little bit to level.
But-
If you have any error, do you have any error?
Yeah, I have
If you have any error, the type is
AZ
AZ space web app
log.
space log
Okay.
space deployment
Okay.
space show space dash n
Then
space the name of the application you are deploying that you have already set. Make sure it's the same. Space dash G, you want to make it global, space deploy group, create a deploy group.
So the GitHub repository name and the application we're making should be same? No?
Is the remember you gave your application a name?
Okay, this one. Okay.
Yeah, this one.
Is can you see am I typing correctly? See like this.
So if you are not successful with this process also, you have to, the link they learning, you can still watch the video, right? So, but you need, as you are, you know, system, you have to do a little bit of system configuration and every other thing when you are deploying. So that is what we are facing right now, right? Okay. Okay. Could not be found. Okay. So did it work for any other person? No? Yes? Okay. So we will still run some other commands again now. So let's create the deploy group now. If yours is not working,
Just tell me the subscription cannot be found.
wow.
Is that happening to you guys?
The subscription cannot be found.
Use Microsoft for education.
Huh?
It's the same solution with
Okay, maybe you have to, so your email is not listed. So go back to the site. Go back to, but he was able to log in, was able to see the
Yes, you have log in, but I don't subscribe for that.
Okay, you are still having an error. I'm having an error too. So let me see, what error is this? Wow. Says a long list of errors. Okay. Okay, let's do the app service list and let's see whether we can be able to. Okay. Okay, so we'll type some other command now and let's see whether we can configure the default plan deployment. So when we are deploying so many configurations, so many settings to do and to change, right? So you can imagine this is the same code I used yesterday and it worked for me. Okay, the same command and it worked for me and it deployed. Okay. Okay, let's see whether we can be able to. So let's web deployment space user space set dash username user dash name. Else I'll just play web app space deployment space set space dash dash user dash name. So let's password. Can I remember my okay, remember your Sentinel College password. Okay, let's
Oh, so it should be easy with app development.
okay. So let me create the
It is this, we just create a local on this.
so let me create the app service. So I'm just trying to restart again. So AZ app service list the location.
Yeah. Yeah, password. Just type in
So let's check the list of location. What do you mean list dash location?
So, Professor,
there's
the password should be the same.
your Sentinel College email
Okay.
password.
Okay.
So locations, enter, it should show us the list of locations. Okay, so this will just display the list of locations. Remember we use East US. So these are the list of locations. I'm sure if you want, where did I get the location East US from? So that will display the list of location. We have Canada, Central in the location, if you look at it, but it's not working. If you try that, it's not working. That was why I used East US. So I'll create a group. AZ space group
Yeah. Yeah, that's why it's
space create
You just keep on writing, and then it's gonna come.
space dash dash location East US, or you can say West US, any of the location close to you. If you use Canada, you discover that it's not working. Name deploy group. Let's see. Okay, another error. The resource group already exists in location West US. Okay, so let me see West US. Did it work for you? Did East US work for you? Who else is? Did East US work for you? Okay. I think because I've used this
I
several
think-
times, it has registered. Did it work for you?
Yeah, it worked for me.
It worked for you, maybe because I've used it and I'm deploying the same application. Wow. Okay. Maybe because it has registered this. It wants me to keep using this. Right. So when you use East US as location, did it work for you?
Yeah, it worked.
It worked. Okay, maybe because was what I used in deploying, the one that failed. So maybe it's forcing me to go back to this.
Okay.
So let me say AZ. So let's deploy that plan that we have created and configure that plan, and let's see what happens. AZ configure space dash dash default
command is for
Group.
those who location is not working, right?
You said?
This command is for them whose locations are not
For
working.
you to choose the location and for you to create a group for that location.
Okay.
So after creating the group for that location, we need to configure
Okay.
that default group that we have created. So we are trying to configure the default group that we have created.
When we give it a name, we have to change the name.
So
Sorry?
just try this one. AC
The-
create
Yeah,
location.
my sports dash destination, you have to change that name.
Huh?
The my sports, you have to change that name.
What did you use earlier on to create it?
Because currently it was connected to my user account,
Okay.
but then I think they said it's name was already changed, so I have to change this.
Yeah, put an extension there. That is why I use 5 because I have used first call yesterday. So we've been able to configure the default group, deploy group that we have created, and the app service plan will deploy the plan as well as free. It should be a free one. AZ app service plan, create space dash name space deploy plan space dash used to be free.
Professor, can you?
It's too, I should move it up.
Yeah, please, thank you. Can you highlight it, please? The comment that you just wrote.
After this one, I've created one. It says the region has no 0 subscription. Try selecting. Okay, so let's try the app name that we want to deploy.
Sorry, Professor, can you highlight the comment that you just wrote?
This is, have you put in this one?
This one? Okay.
Then after that, this one is saying, it's giving an error, whichever way.
Okay.
So
Miss, can you show where can we log in?
What?
login, AZ login, or which one?
For me, it's showing Microsoft.web used by this operation is not registered. We are registering it for you.
Okay.
Now it's still loading.
So it's registering for you.
Yeah, so it's
And
working.
it's not
right?
registering for us. Okay. Oh my God. Maybe because our settings different. So now you say deployment. Once you're deploying, there are so many things that you need to do. Right. So for you, see, for us, it's saying, for me, it's saying this region has quota 0 instance for your subscription. My free subscription. Try selecting region, wants me to select another region, but I'll just leave it at that. Which region did you use?
East US.
East US. Who else used East US?
Yes.
Do you have this error message? What do you have? Have you checked the spelling? So when you are deploying the
Oh, so before you did this.
check the spelling. You want me to scroll up? Are you seeing? But at times spelling, you don't spell it very well.
Oh,
If there is an error there, it will any spelling typo error. Okay. So let's see. So those using East US, I think they are successful,
yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay, so those using East US, maybe you use East US. Did you use East US? It's successful. Check your spelling because if you check your spelling, check if there's any typo error, it won't give you. He used East US, he used East US and it's successful. Yeah, East US. All together, did you put it together? Huh? Hello? The East US, did you put it together? Space. So East space US. So those of us using East US should be successful. Hello? So deployment is not an easy task. application West East US. So, but it's working for most people. So try using East US. Are you at that point?
I'm still at the point where HTML.
Okay. You will still repeat that HTML because we are just checking if yours is successful. Fine. We had error at a point, so we are going back. Okay, let me try the East US whether it will work for it. Okay, don't worry. Let's just. Okay, so it worked for you perfectly, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Why is it not working for me? So did you deploy it as free
Yes.
and it worked?
Yeah.
I think I should use East US.
There's no
Let me see if I can go back and use East US. Let me say East. The East US didn't work for me. Let me try it again. East US.
You need to run this one. Wait.
It's not working for me. Okay. So so I think I use West US 2. So let me take it back to West US 2. Okay. Okay, I think he's saying I've used East US before. Okay. So I'll configure. Okay. App service. So app service. Okay. So let me type that. App service. AZ app service. Okay. Let's just move gradually. Then app service. Plan. Create. Name. Deploy. Plan. Okay. Okay, so AZ space configure space dash default space plan equals to deploy the plan. AZ configure space dash default plan equals to deploy plan, enter. Okay, so let's now go back to the app AZ space web. Let's see whether that will work. Web app space up space dash location space. I think you guys use East US space dash name space the name of the application my sports store.
Fine.
I think it's the same.
Let me see. Space dash HTML. My sports store 5. Mine is my sports store 5. Let's go again. Let's see whether it will do. Okay. So let's see. Before we go to our GitHub, we can deploy from the GitHub. I want to.
Professor, after doing everything, this is like last last one that we have to write? Or
Oh, says post 5 already exists. Oh my god. Maybe we need to change that name. Okay, so let's still leave it. Maybe you need to change the name Postor. What did you use? Postor.
I think I need to run the last two commands, right?
Yes. Configure the group that we have deployed to. Remember
Okay.
we said group deploy group.
Yes.
Then we have services. I thought you said yours is running
Yeah, mine
already.
is working.
Right, so the next thing, I just repeated it because I changed my
Okay.
location, east
Okay.
US. I just repeated it. So the next thing you need to type is try this one again.
So we don't need to type the ask config?
No, if this works for you earlier on, no. I just tried the location.
Oh, okay, work for me.
So-
So just the last one, right?
Yeah. So let's see. Try the last one. Make sure it's the name of the application you. It has registered the one I created earlier on. So
Yeah.
it's saying. You can watch the video Lean Day Learning. Go to week 12. Week 12 is open. Right.
Is this one after that?
If this one, if it gives you an error, you have an error after running it, or it's still running it.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. If it gives you an error after running it, then you run this one. So let's hold on for it. We're just repeating it again. Okay. So we have it. You can watch the video on the LinkedIn Learning. It's in week 12. It's in week 12. You have the deployment for Heroku. You already know how to deploy Heroku. So we are not going back to that, right? So we're trying to use Azure, AWS. If you have a free account, you can create a free account. I do use AWS because my free account has expired. So it's asking me to put in my credit card details. I don't want to take that risk. So, but Azure as a student, you did? Oh my god.
No.
It's not gonna charge me,
a new one.
I think, cause like we get like free credits as students, when we sign up with GitHub, we have like 12 months worth of credits.
Okay, for AWS,
No,
for Heroku.
and Azure too, they give us credits for it, I don't remember how much.
Okay, so Heroku is giving credits to students too.
Okay.
Please listen to this. We
But
might
you have to
still.
put in your credit card though.
But you have to put your credit. Okay. For Heroku, let's not discard Heroku completely, right? Somebody has tried it out, and it says it gives you credit for how many?
It's 12 months worth, it's like $156 US.
12 months credits free. So you can see this for 12 months free, but you have to put your what?
GitHub, you have to sign up, you have to log into GitHub with your student account, and then they approve you, and then you get access to it.
Okay, so please say that again. Sorry.
So you sign up with you log into GitHub with your MyCentennial, or you connect your school account to it, and then you get access to like a whole bunch of resources, and then you go to Heroku, hook it up to your GitHub, and then you get credits.
Okay. So, but the credits can after 12 months, right?
Yeah.
They'll start. So you have to be smart. Once you are done deploying your application, your project, go and disable that account. So you have to be smart. Don't be like me. Touch things I don't put it in my. I have so many things.
But
So you have to be smart and remember after deploying your application, just make sure you disable that account. So mine is still slow. Who is successful now?
not
Please
me.
check. Is it successful now?
HTML flag.
I'm trying to,
When you connect
wait,
with
how
GitHub.
does it proceed?
Okay. Okay.
$5.
He's saying the deploy group is not found.
Right? So
Wow.
as soon as I see that one first $5.
Okay, maybe we'll create another group. Or
That's when we have to start being
maybe give another group name.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so if this does not, hello, if we are not successful now, I'll just play that LinkedIn video. Right. So if you go to, okay, let's see whether we can deploy deploy. Let me see whether we can, as this is loading, executing. Let me check whether we can deploy from Git directly, since we have pushed it to GitHub, right? So let's check. Please check your Azure. Let's see if we can deploy directly from our GitHub, right? So let's see if we can deploy directly from our GitHub. Let's. So, let's see if we can deploy directly using our GitHub instead of so once you log in into your Azure account, resource group, let me see the resource group. I've created 2 resource groups here. My resource group, deploy group. So who else is having an error, or who is successful in deploying, in creating that group? This is the one I deployed yesterday, and it took 8 hours.
It got failed.
And at the long run, it says the operation
Was cancelled.
was cancelled. So I don't know, maybe probably it's my network, or I don't know what actually happened. So this was one I deployed yesterday. So deployments, you need some. Is that?
That's what I tried to do it before, and then I broke the whole application.
You broke the whole application. So you have to be very careful. So I will encourage you, before you start deploying, that file, have it replicated twice or thrice. So that in case anything happens to the first one,
Yeah, you have the backup.
you have a backup. Right. So I'm trying to see if we'll log into Azure. Let me see if I can log in again. Wow. So I'm trying to see if we can go to Azure and look at the deployment center. it successful for you?
But you still
Okay, so I'm just,
Yes.
let me go back to GitHub. Go to your GitHub. Go to your GitHub. Do you have this link? Go to the GitHub, the code you push to GitHub. Do you have this link? It has not deployed, so that is the issue we have. Go to your GitHub. Do you have this link? Not yet. Because we have not deployed. It's until you deploy before, if your deployment, if it's successful, if you go back to your GitHub, you will see this link. Right. So you see this link, you'll be able to check the actions, what is going on. Right. So this is where you will see the app, the application building and deploying, right? So these two failed. Remember I said it failed. So let's go back. Wow. Okay, mine has run into an error also. It says certificate failed.
Anyone that have the medical access.
Wow. Okay. Certificate failed. Let me see what the error is all about. Tips for using the adversary line successfully. Okay. So says my certificate failed. So I'm trying to Google and check the error.
Is
I
it,
don't-
did you put a URL for MongoDB?
We didn't put the URL for MongoDB yet.
I think that might be why. If we try to like push it without it. And like,
Is this to GitHub?
I think that's why my scratch.
Okay, maybe that's why it's crashing. Okay. Let's okay. Okay, let's explore another option. Once I explore this option, what's the time? Wow, it's almost ended. I can't believe we are working on this. Okay, so let's explore another option and so let's explore another option. Let's start from scratch or simply
at least it's different.
okay. Let me play a clips of the video, right? Okay, let's see. Let's follow the video. So try and watch the video and try your hands on it. Watching the video doesn't mean that it will be smooth and seamless, right? It will still come up with some errors for you to Google and So let's go back to our course shell. That link that says deploying Node.js, deploying application is your LinkedIn learning. So we are done. I won't go to Heroku. I'll just go to Azure space, right? So let me see if the speaker here.
Apps from Microsoft is a service to host web applications or web services such as REST APIs, mobile backend servers, or applications like the one we're working with. Microsoft has come a long way with language support as they work on open source initiatives, and there's a lot of open source love to be found in the web app service. All of these languages are supported by the web app service. Even cooler, you can deploy to either a Linux VM or a Windows one. This gives you the ability to ensure the cross-platform compatibility of your app as part of your deployment process. Other platform as a service providers we've looked at, Microsoft provides a powerful platform to handle scaling, load balancing, security, and management. And according to Forrester, 2017 was the year of DevOps, and so it's really nice to see Microsoft stepping up here as well. You'll need to get an Azure login from Microsoft in order to go through this chapter, and that's at azure.microsoft.com. They do require a credit card, even for free tier accounts. Once your account is set up, you will need to get the Azure command line interface tools. So to do that, click on Portal. And then under the Quick Start Tutorials, we're gonna click App Service, the Node.js Quick Start. Click on the Azure CLI link. And then there's an install link here, and it tells you how to install on various different systems. Microsoft does provide a cloud shell that you could use for the command line interface, but that's more manual, creating and uploading a zip file to the cloud, and doesn't really work in a continuous deployment sort of an environment. So we're gonna go ahead and use the command line tools.
Okay, so I'm going to, it's just three modules anyway.
We're ready to build an application in Azure now. Open your terminal window and change into the exercise files directory. You're gonna
Okay.
first need to log in,
Maybe I'll be
so
pausing.
AZ login,
Can you just clear your command line?
and we need
I'll
to
now-
navigate to device.
Okay, so AZ login, let's start from scratch. Okay. Are we all there? I'm sure we have all installed the CLI, right? Okay. So AZ login, let's start from scratch.
Login, and give it that code.
Is it generating any code for you? Maybe this is the old version, right?
And we should be set to go. You get a message back from the server telling you that you're enabled.
Do we all have that message? Okay.
So let's get started. For the first thing we need to do is we need to create a user that the web app will run as. So AZ web app deployment user set user name. Now you're gonna need to pick a username that's unique across all of Microsoft's the Azure cloud. So you can't use the same one I'm using. Just use something that makes sense to you. And then the password has some very fussy rules. It needs to have upper and lower case letters as well as numbers. So it might take a couple of tries.
So your password,
Oh, can't use that deployment user.
so try, can you type that script and let's see if the username or the password has been taken. If you use a new password, make sure you write it down. If you're not using your Sentinel, excuse me, college email password, make sure you write it down somewhere, right? You might still need it. So you have AZ web app deployment space user space set space dash dash user dash name space deploy dash web app space dash dash password space, then you put in the password you want to use.
Deploy web app would be the username?
The-
Is that just a username that we're putting?
Username deploy web app, yeah, so you can, yeah, so that is the username. You can just follow her all through the very end, then later you know, when you're repeating it, just follow her to the very end and understand, then later you can change it. Okay, so are we done? So remember, your password must contain uppercase and special characters, numbers and special characters, right? Okay. So I will just go ahead.
I will call it deploy game
Okay.
web app.
So that's the name of the application, just like
A little
say
bit
my
of a delay,
sports
that's a
store.
good sign. So getting your application deployed is gonna be a
Okay, are we all dead? We all have this. We all have this. Do we all have
We can't use the same name.
you can change it. If I use my my sports store that we used earlier on, you might need to change it, right? Just put an extension there. Can we continue? working? Is it working? I'm still waiting for some of my friends here.
Yes.
Is it working? Okay, I need a yes if it's working so that we can continue. Okay. So that if you have errors, let's debug.
Bit of work, as the information bits we need build on each other. So we'll get started. The first thing we need to do is get a location from the list of locations available in the free tier.
Okay,
So
that's the location we're
AZ
trying
app
to get the other
service.
time.
List locations, SKU F1. That's the free tier. All right,
Oh, I'll take it back again. So we're trying to get the location just like we did earlier on. So let's see them.
SKU F1.
So it's AZ app service space list dash locations space dash dash SKU space F1, just like we typed earlier on. So app AZ, so let's see where we missed it out. App service list dash location, just to give you a list of all the locations. In the location, you saw that Canada is there, but if you use Canada as the location, it will tell you that it's not part of the free tier. Right, so location space dash dash SKU space F1. So if you press enter, it will give you a list of all the locations.
Miss, can you turn on the light?
Okay, oh, you cannot see. Okay, can you see better now?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry for that. But with this, it's okay. I should turn everything on.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Yeah, it's alright.
Okay. Okay, so if you hit enter, it will
That's
show
the
you
free
the
tier.
list of all the
All
locations.
right, I think West US,
Do you have a plan for this?
So you part of it, you scroll, you see Canada, you see some other things. But if you use that Canada, look, maybe you can try it out. It will tell you that it's not part of the free ones that you can use. The free locations. Okay, so
Q
let's
probably sounds the best of the choices that I'm given here.
so
So I will use that. The next thing I need to do is create a group. This is
We are
sort of an
going to create a group,
organizational way
just
for you
like
to
Google.
keep your applications in a different directory structure, essentially. So AZ group, create, name, employee group, location, West, US 2.
okay, so AZ group create space dash dash name space deploy group space dash dash location. She's using West US 2. If that does not work for you, go back and use your East US. So try this out. If it's not working for you, it's not written in stone, cast and stone that you should use this. If it's not working for you, try all the other options.
Yeah.
All the other options. So is this working for you? So I'll just, I think this was the one that worked for me. Are we there now? Did it work for you? It worked for you. Did it work for you? Did it work for you? Or you're not yet there? You're not yet there. It works beautiful. So is it working for you?
Yes.
Did it work for you? I'm not trying it out. Why don't you try it out? Did it work for you now?
I've tried.
Okay. So beautiful. Okay. Okay, so let's continue.
And it's been created, that's great.
Okay.
Now, a lot of the rest of the things we're gonna be doing here are going to require that we use that group. So I'm gonna go ahead and configure it as a default so that I don't have to say group every time. So for that, it's AZ configure default group equals deploy group. Great.
Okay, so configure the group, which these are all the steps we tried doing earlier on. So let's configure the group. AZ space configure space dash dash default space group equals to deploy group. Hit enter. I think this was successful for us earlier on. Okay. So successful for everyone?
Yes.
Okay. No, or not yet. So I'll just give you a second. I think this was successful. Successful? Okay. Successful? Not yet. Okay.
Oh, I put a space.
So like C sharp,
Okay.
it's fine.
Okay. Okay, so let's
Great.
move on.
Now, the next thing we need to do is we need to set up a plan for the application. This is sort of the billing plan.
Okay,
So
so
we're
we're gonna
gonna
set up the plan.
set it up to be the free tier. So
Instead of
AZ
billing,
app
I'm going to set it
service
to free. Right.
plan, create, name, deploy, plan, SKU, free.
Okay, so I'll just hold on there. So we are setting up, we are using free plan, right? Okay, so AZ space, the app service space plan space create space dash name space deploy plan space dash SKU free. We are using a free plan. Is it successful?
Wait,
Anyone having error?
Wait,
Okay.
yeah, it works.
this is what, okay.
So if you are having any error, just go and put it to Mr. Google. Because you are watching the video doesn't mean that it will be error free. Because our system configuration differs, right? So there is likelihood you might encounter, you might write the same script and you might have an error. So all you need to do is just put it into Google. Google will tell you what to do. Right. So is it successful now?
Yeah.
Beautiful. No? You're having error?
Yes. The same
Check
one
your
is-
spelling. Go back and check your spelling.
Except there is a quota of 0.
The what?
Yeah, me too.
Quota of 0.
The
It's the same message.
that I'm using group. The location I'm using. Did you change it to West US2? Remember we said let's use the location she's using, West US2.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, too.
You changed it to West US2. Was East working for you earlier on?
There's an error.
Was East working for you? East
This is working.
change to East US. So change to East. If you have the error at this point,
That's fine.
like he is having error, the West US is complaining. East US, which and it's still working for you. Okay, so go back to your East US. Say it's still working for her. So that's why I said, because you are watching what she's doing in the video doesn't mean that it is error free. It might not work for you, you might need to figure it out. Okay. So did it work for you now? It's almost time. Oh, 10:20. So you have the video on your, it's on the course shell 12. We are finished. We are using Azure. We are finished the Azure setup. We are on Azure host creation, right? Hello. So you can continue from there. We are Azure host creation. Just try and pull the video to this point and figure out where you are. So you can just use your phone and take a snapshot where you have stopped. Then you can go back and figure out where you are. Right? So that won't take most of our time. So we'll continue from there. Next class. Is it working for you now?
I'm still working on it.
Eh?
I'm still working on it.
Working on it. So deployment is not an easy task, so but we just have to deploy our application, right? Okay. So see you next class on Thursday, and hopefully if you can complete it on your own for Azure, that would be a nice one, right? So that you come back to class and maybe assist some of the guys having. But if not, just on Thursday we'll continue from where we stopped. I will try and navigate and see where. Okay, so you mentioned I should remove words, maybe because I'm deploying the same application. So watch the